Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct them as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing chapter 91 of The World Witches. What the fuck was that? Brandon demands when quiet returns to the corridor. Minigun, I say, raising my head to look in the direction it came from. Brandon stares at me. It's a weapon, rotary barrel, and insane rate of fire. How the fuck do you know that? Movies. They're popular in action movies with explosion and high death toll. I actually don't know if they're real or an invention for them. When I brought them up to grandmother, her answer was more cursing than anything else. Which raises a question. Is it safe to stand? Silver asks before I speak. If it obeys the laws of physics, I reply, then it needs to reload before it can fire. Brandon, you said ruins are built around the theme. Can this one be around the theme of an amusement park? Like the Disney place you mentioned. You didn't mention anything about an amusement park here before. I thought you said it was a military place and stored gold. But that doesn't mean there wasn't an amusement park. It would explain the oddness, wouldn't it? Maybe. Disney follows all the rules about ruins, even if they are interpreted in crazy ways. Are we staying on the ground talking about what this place is, Ellen asked, or getting on with this? Give me a minute. I crawl to the end of the corridor. The panel that hid the minigun is on the floor. Peering in, I feel the feed belt is empty. All clear. There's even the crate that had contained the ammo belt. We should check the room, Brendan said, opening a door. The rooms. That's going to be plural. That was clearly a trap, which means there's a cache. And you can look for it when you come back. We're going up. How are we doing that? Silver asked. The stairwell's blocked. There's probably another one. I look around the corner. No panel at the other end. That's not certain, Brandon says. Then there's going to be another way up. He narrows his eyes at me. You said ruins are made to be explored. If we can get in, then it makes sense things are going to be set up in a way that lets us explore it, right? Yes, he stretches the word. Probably looking for a way to use that to convince me finding the cache is more important. I head to the end before he speaks. The left and right corridor end after 3 doors. No sign indicating there are stairs. I guess we need to check all the rooms, Brendan said, smirking. For a way up, I remind him. For a way up, he turns to Silver and Ellen. Be careful when opening doors. The odds are some of them will be trapped. How about we let you deal with them then, Ellen offers. I'd rather we speed this up, I say. Just stay on the side of the door when you push it open. The traps should be set to catch the person in front of it. If I'm wrong, someone's going to get hurt, but this definitely feels like it's built on the theme of science fiction war movies, and those are usually straightforward. I ignore Brandon's stare and go to the closest door. Stand to the side and push it in. When nothing happens, I glance in. The ruin of a meeting room. I move to the next door, and the others go to theirs. My third door causes an explosion that pretty much obliterated the facing wall. You okay? Brendan calls. Yeah. These traps are merciless. A glance inside shows an overturned stand that could have held the explosive. I can't remember what they're called, but I've seen them pulverize soldiers in movies. No strings as a trigger, but I don't think ruins need them. As I ready to open my 4th door, fighting starts elsewhere. No one calls out for help, so I wait for it to end. You good, Brendan? A couple of level 10s. He replies, no sweat. I open the door. An office in surprisingly good condition. There's an explosion. Then Ellen curses angrily, and a few more. I swear, whoever went and made those things fire resistant, I am going to burn. The ruin isn't changing things just to piss you off, sis. Sure it isn't, Bran. Sure it isn't. It's a ruin, hell. Not one of your spurned lovers. I'll have you know I don't have any sprint anything. Unlike you, I actually care about the man I sleep with. I think I have something. Silver calls and I join her. I can't tell what the room had been, but the ceilings fallen at an angle and opened onto the other and opens to the other room. It's a clear way up. There's even handhold from pipes that were behind the ceiling and between the ceiling and floor. Let me go first, Brenda says. As I reach for her pipe, I can take whatever's up there. He quickly pulls himself up, then reappears. It's clear. I make it up without assistance. Then we help Alan and Silver. No idea what this room was either. The door is no longer there, and I peer left and right. I swear the automaton only starts moving when I look at it. Automaton janitor, level 1. Not all of them automaton were repurposed. Some were left to continue with their programming until they failed. Perception check failed. It's a level 1. I tell the others I'll take care of it. I step to it as it mops the floor with the metal handle. That's all that's left of the mop, and equip my sword. My swing misses as it jerks out of the way. Then its handle hits me and sends me flying. That costs me a tenth of my health. What would I have done? What would it have done to me without my armor? I push through the pain and get to my feet. It's advancing, whirling the handle about like it's a staff, and it's a master staff fighter. I have my shield equipped to block it, then I shove it back and attack. It's fast, either dodging or blocking most of my swings and thrust. But when I connect, I cut deep, exposing sparking circuits. Not that it shows it. Not that it slows it. Brennan rounds the corner, but doesn't join the fight. I mostly block the quick staff attacks, then get my opening and off the head goes. The smirk is forming when the staff hits and sends me through the wall. That cost me 2/10. Come on. Cutting off the head of a robot always stops them in movies. I'm up and blocking more attacks. This time, when I get my opening, I plant my sword into its chest and rip it out the side. And then I stay alert for it to continue fighting. It tries, but its mobility is impaired now. Cutting it down is quickly done. Brendan is looking in from the hole I made, frowning. How the fuck was that level 1? I demand. I take it you failed your perception check. It's just, I check. Level 22, I pretty much always failed them. It said, surprise. I stare at him. What does that mean? Fuck if I knows. Nothing about this ruin makes sense. If we can't trust what the system tells us, we need to be a lot more careful. If we can't trust what the system tells us, he says, the whole fucking world's fucked, Dennis. Everything we do relies on the information the system gives us. If it lies about this, what else is it lying about? We don't tell Silver or Ellen. I hurry to whisper, hoping they aren't close enough to hear. This place is confusing enough as it is. We aren't adding to their stress. My sister's tougher than you think. I'm not having only Silver be in the dark about this. Keeping it from both of them is me trying to make things easier on them. If it's only Silver, I'm not trusting she can deal with it. For someone well aware of the consequence of his action, you are still making a pretty stupid decision. You sweet on her? I've seen that make people idiots. I'm not sweet on her. She's my friend and I don't want her to know how dangerous this place has just become? How dangerous the world has become. You said it. If the system lies, we are fucked. And you don't think she has a right to know? Right to know what? Silver calls out. Brendan looks at me and mouths, your call. Asshole, I mouth back. She looks in. I thought you said it was level 1. I almost tell her I made stupid mistakes to explain it, but Brendan's right. It's what his description said, but it was a lot tougher than that. I didn't realize that could happen. It can't. Brendan says, the information lied. I add, this feels tougher than the level 10 we fought at. This felt tougher than the level 10 we fought outside. How can the information be wrong? It can't. Ellen says, Dennis misread. I bring up the log and double check. He didn't, Brendan says. I checked it too while he was fighting. I made my perception check, and that said, surprise. It was definitely intentional. Bullshit, the system doesn't lie. Says who, sis? That throws her. It can't be. She finally says, we'd have noticed by now. Silver looks at her. Surprise sounds like intent. Like the system waited this long to drop this on us. Okay, then why us? Ellen demands. No offense to any of you, but who the fuck are we for the system to notice and do this? Wouldn't it do it to, I don't know, someone important? Maybe we're more important than you think, Brendan replies, but without heat. In your dreams. Okay, that's enough, I say before this escalates. I'm with Ellen that we aren't that important, but, I add as she opens her mouth, this did happen. Whatever the reason, the system revealed it's playing us. It's playing us. Maybe it isn't happening just to us, Silver offers. That makes a lot more sense, Ellen says. Maybe today is when the system reveals this to everyone and they're all dealing with it. What do we do then? Brendan asks, looking at me. You're the leader, he adds when I'm about to protest. Doesn't mean I'm qualified to make that kind of decision, he smirks. Okay. I say, since he's not going to bail me out. What happens if we rush back to Louisville? If we're the only ones to which it's happened, to which it's happening, Silver says, we get called crazies and ignored. Until it starts happening to others too, Brendan adds. What if it's already happening to them? I ask. Then we get there and the city's in chaos, Ellen says. Will us being there make a difference then? I ask, and she shrugs. We also need to remember we're 5 or 6 days away, Brendan says, but by, by the time we get there, it's going to be well on its way, no matter what's going on. Okay, so we won't be believed if we try to warn them, and if it's already going on, we won't make much of a difference. I look at them and get shrugs and non-confident nods. Thanks for the help. If we can't do much to help in the short term, how does this affect my situation? Brendan, do you think this will knock enough sense into Xander for him to call off his bounty hunters? He snorts. I don't think the system sending him a personal message telling him to fuck off would do it. Obsessive is mild when it comes to describing him when he decides on something. Okay, then we continue with this ruin. The absolute worst situation I can envision this way is that we get what Xander's after and we return to our world having collapsed, which we can't influence no matter how early we get back. But if it's still there, we can hand it over to the club, get him off my back, and then figure out what to do about this discovery. Feels like we should do more, Ellen says. If you have a way to make us going back now matter, I'm listening. Doesn't take long that she's shaking her head. Okay, the main way this is affecting us is that we can't trust the creature's description. That means we treat each encounter as if it's deadly. Me and Brandon in the front, you and Silver providing cover. No more letting me and her handling things so we get experience. That could get us killed. They all nod and we move on. Treating each encounter like they are deadly means we make quick work of them. We make it back to the stairwells it's not back. We make it to the stairwell, which takes up 2 floors. Then we check the rooms until we find another collapsed ceiling to reach the 5th floor. Then it's just about finding the roof accessed, which we find guarded. As soon as we spot the large automaton, we rush into a room. No gunfire, no tremors. It advances in our direction. It doesn't seem to have seen us, or more likely, we haven't crossed its detection threshold. My glance is furtive anyway. I'm not taking any chances. The impression I get matches the previous one. Massive, twice Brendan's height, barely built on a humanoid design. Thick legs connect to a squat torso that might double as its head, with arms attached to that with multiple barrels instead of hands. I glance again, trying to work out why it feels familiar. This is going to be a problem, Brendan says, looking long enough he got its description. I look around and fix my gaze on it. Enforcement Automaton Model 209, level 30. Part of the series of automaton the computer designed to protect high security areas. The 209 is designed with increased armor and superior firepower and a don't take prisoner program. Perception check failed. The feet are only extended prongs, which are going to make it stable. The arms are thick, which means a lot of ammo, probably, and the torso is elongated. The top looks like some partially transparent material, but I can't make it I can't make out anything through it. But there's the feel that someone could fit in there. I lean back in the room. I've seen that thing before. Brendan stares at me. You, I'm from a small town, have been somewhere with a copy of that thing in it? I shake my head, then lightly bang it against the wall. Come on, Dennis, where the fuck can you have seen something like that before? No, that exact thing before in a movie. I can't remember much of it. A robot that enforces the law, corporation trying to control it, that thing designed to replace it but going out of control. There's no way a ruin is based around a movie, he says. Maybe it's based around where they made movies? Silver offers. That was a thing before the system. There's one on the west side of the continent, Brendan says, but I've never heard of this kind of thing out there. This kind of thing's out of it. Except that in a movie, that a movie doesn't fit. I don't remember automaton in that one, or a computer rebelling. I can think of a couple of movies that match that, but those don't have something like this in them. I don't think. Can we trust the description? Ellen asked. I look at Brendan. He shrugged. Failed my perception check, but if it's higher level than it says, we are screwed. I'm good, but I'm only level 23. Ellen's 27. I'm sorry to say that with both of you being under 15, you don't matter in that equation. That's not to say you aren't going to be vital to winning this. Ellen says, glaring at Brandon, if we decide to take it on. Another glance at it. More nagging that none of this adds up. Way beyond this being weird for a ruin. Whatever it is, can wait. Brandon, how likely is it that if we attack it and things don't go our way, we can run away? We've cleared everything getting here. So long as we don't do anything stupid during the fight and are mobile, we can run off. Even if it chases us, it's going to be impeded by the walls as it enters the corridor, and we're going to have time. Then I say we try it. Didn't Brendan say, so long as we don't do anything stupid? Silver asks. He didn't say it was a lost cause, but we're only doing this if we all agree it's worth the risk. That's clearly a boss, Brendan says. Even split 4 ways, that experience is going to be significant. Of course, that's all you're thinking about, and then grumbles. Does that mean you're against it? I ask. I can see the conflict. I think there's excitement hiding behind that. Makes sense. She's still with us after all. I don't think I'm only here to make sure my brother doesn't get himself killed. Would have lasted after everything we've been through. I mean, I'm looking forward to that fight, and I keep telling Brandon this life isn't the one I want. Her sigh is heavy. I'm in. You are? Brendan asks. Go ahead. Get the mocking out of your system now so you'll be able to focus on the fight. Sis, this expression's got nothing to do with mocking. This is pure respect. She glares at him like that's even more offensive. Silver, it's your decision. We'll respect whatever it is, no matter how eager Brandon is to test himself against it. She smiles. I'm terrified. Okay, but I want to do this. I stare at her. I'm not going to live stories I can sing about if all I do is go in the opposite direction of what scares me. I trust you to make sure that if the fight turns back, we all get out of here. But yeah, I want to try beating this boss. Okay. I guess I need to come up with a plan after all. And that concludes chapter 91 of The World Which Is. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it is up for free on Royal Road. If you want to support me and read ahead of this, that is on my Patreon. We're about a dozen chapters ahead. It tends to vary based on my writing schedule. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. Links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.